With For Honor, Ubisoft have attempted a genuinely fresh online multiplayer experience, and those attempts at innovation make for a strong product overall, even if it's clear that that product won't be everyone's cup of tea. The central premise of For Honor is an intriguing one. What if samurai, knights and vikings were trapped in an endless bitter conflict? That's pretty much it, by the way, but it's as good as an excuse as any to slap each other about with massive swords. While For Honor looks like your average hack and slash brawler on the surface, don't be fooled. There's a much more complex and competitive system lurking under the attractively packaged product, and it's here that some will devote hours of their time to mastering its secrets. Those hoping to button mash their way to victory will have to look elsewhere, as For Honor is essentially a surprisingly effective sword fighting simulator that rewards patience and strategy. Once your character locks onto an opponent, they can hold their weapon in one of three directions: left, right or up. Holding your weapon in one of these directions dictates from which direction you'll be blocking and attacking. Duels with other players can become achingly tense situations as you circle one another, waiting for your opening. There's a real Dark Souls vibe to the combat, as you'll have to keep an eye on your enemy's movements as well as your own stamina bar to come out on top. If that sounds simple, it isn't. Once you add light attacks, heavy attacks, attack chains, dodges, parries, guard breaks, counters, customizable loadouts, executions, revives, revenge mode, throws and more across 12 distinct heroes with unique strengths and weaknesses, it becomes clear that Ubisoft see the For Honor as a serious competitive game. It's genuinely tough, and there's a strong chance that a number of players will be put off by the fact that it's difficult to pick up and even harder to master. Running straight into a game will leave you with a string of tragic deaths and a bruised ego, as more experienced players will swat you around the battlefield. The single-player campaign, however, is little more than an excuse to try out all of the characters and hone your skills, something you're definitely going to want to do with this game. The story itself is entirely forgettable nonsense, and the majority of your attention will be spent focused online. One-on-one duels and two-on-two brawls are traditional best-of-5 scraps, and it's here that For Honor feels most like a traditional fighting game with a twist. Given you don't get matched with a vastly superior player, these are fun modes to play and practice with. Elimination and Dominion are 4v4 modes that require more of a focus on tactics than individual skill. Frankly, the quality of these games will depend on who you play with, as the death of one teammate in a 3v3 skirmish will quickly skew the odds until you're left alone, desperately fighting off 2 or 3 enemy players, which will almost always end badly for you. Getting ganged up on in such moments is one of For Honor's most frustrating shortcomings, as it becomes much harder to make measured decisions in battle when multiple players are gunning for you all at once. For now, the relatively limited number of modes is fun, but their longevity will entirely depend on how seriously you intend to take the game. A few more modes highlighting the unique nature of For Honor wouldn't have gone amiss. In trying something completely new, Ubisoft have produced one of the freshest games in years, though potential buyers should be aware that For Honor is a million miles away from the button-bashing brawler it appears to be on the surface.